The best Japanese label ever? Could be. Certainly is one of the most well-known. Today we ask the question, what the hell is Undercover? I'm your boy Reggie Casual. Let's get it. Now you can't talk Undercover without talking about its creator, Jun Takahashi, born in 1969 and a student of the world-famous Bunka School of Fashion Design beginning in 1988. Jun was influenced early in his life by punk, its lifestyle, its aesthetic, and of course, its music. A former member of the Tokyo Sex Pistols, a band inspired by the original Sex Pistols of UK fame, and an aloof student, more or less, Jun wouldn't be pushed into the world of fashion until after witnessing the work of Reggie, the legend that built famed label Comme des Garçons. It was this moment that inspired him to create Undercover, or as Jun puts it, I was so impressed, it convinced me to think of fashion design as being completely free and creative expression. With her work, Kawakubo said, it doesn't matter if it's avant-garde or street, creativity is creativity. So, using his role model Vivienne Westwood as his muse, Jun, along with his classmate Hinori Ichinose, would start Undercover as sort of a makeshift operation. Jun would get a start by remaking vintage tees, adding studs, embellishments, and the like. And word caught on quick. Jun was soon selling at vendors in Japan like Milk Boy and Billy in Harajuku. But it wasn't until being published that Jun would catch fire. Along with college friend Nigo of Bape fame, the two would open the now legendary Nowhere store in the Urahara, the back streets of the Harajuku district of Tokyo, all while under the tutelage of the godfather of streetwear himself, Hiroshi Fujiwara. It was then that a flurry of success would come Jun's way. His work became so well known and influential in the early days of the Urahara that his style of design and assembly would become the de facto trend of the time. No joke, 93, 94, Undercover. It was Jun, not Nigo as some would have you believe, who became the forerunner of the punk-fused street styles that Japan became famous for during the mid-90s. But the street was not where Jun's heart lied, as he wanted to extend his vision even further. However, he lacked the proper context until his introduction to Maison Margiela vindicated everything he stood for as a designer. For Vivienne Westwood was his role model and Kawakubo was his guide, then certainly Margiela was his biggest influence. Unfinished hems, elongated seams and draping, playful sizing, all became staples in Jun's work. And in 1994, he held his first runway show at Tokyo Fashion Week. It was Jun who laid the groundwork for recognizable remake, familiar but peculiar, street but high-end and luxury. And while currently this is being lauded as the style of our time, it was Jun who advanced this position nearly 3 decades prior. And after a slew of successful Tokyo runways and collections, Jun took Undercover to Paris in 2003. The release of his collection entitled Scab made headlines and Jun became an international wonderkind. Soon everyone knew of Undercover and the man whose sole purpose was, as he puts it, I wanted to make punk elegant. It was natural for me to interpret music or movies that I grew up with, that shaped me. I always was interested in rebellion. So I decided to make clothes that were not merely beautiful. I wanted to interpret culture and fashion. Jun's inspiration range from a multitude of sources, from celebrating special effects artists like Screaming Mad George of Nightmare on Elm Street fame, movies like Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, jazz and punk music, of course, or even Star Wars. Just one look at the designer's cachet of work is a lesson in range and aptitude, while at the same time serving as a case study in how deep the rabbit hole can go in a genre that he so vividly continues to define. In fact, to list all his accomplishments and methods here would take too long, but Jun has served as the benchmark, at least in Japan, of how a practitioner of a craft should pursue his or her passion. It is what Rei Kawakubo so admired about him, and it is why till this day she continues to hold his name in the highest regard, while also providing support as a mentor and confidant. Now, as far as the timeline goes, in 2001, Undercoverism, the menswear division, was formed. Jun would build off his Paris runway success in 2003, keenly aware of his critics, allowing him to evolve as a designer by responding to positive and negative responses alike of each subsequent showcase. And iconic collection after iconic collection, Jun would continue to explore the depths of punk, and by 2010, Jun was invited to PTU Umo Imagine 76 to showcase his menswear chops. And of course, he did not disappoint. All to the point where Nike the same year took notice and tasked the designer and label with developing a collaboration that would become Gyakso, which in turn has become Nike's longest standing collaboration with a designer label. 2012 brought on Undercover's collaboration with Japan mega retailer Uniqlo. In 2013, Undercover would introduce a more subdued take on its punk foundations with the introduction of John and Sue Undercover, likely a result of the massive popularity of the Uniqlo collab. And by 2015, we saw Undercover's first collab with Supreme. And the rest, as they say, is history, and history currently in the making. For a label with so much cachet and a portfolio that continues to amaze critics to this day, one may think that Undercover and its creator Jun Takahashi would be considered among the best in the world, and certainly one of the best in Japan. But Jun is more preoccupied and concerned with continuing his endeavors, making enough money to continue his vision. Or, as he puts it, in my work, I want to express not something merely pretty or cute, but to find something behind it. I think it's very human. I take that cute teddy bear and I give it a bit of shock, that bit of violence. The combination is something that gives it real beauty. I'm not denying beauty, but presenting it in a different light. This is Undercover, encapsulated in an individual who continues to peel the layers back on his inspirations, only to find something deeper in meaning and in influence. It's too simple to call it punk or street or designer or even more technical terms like deconstruction. No, Undercover is as much designer as it is art, as much street as it is punk, all summed up in a motto that eerily makes sense. We make noise, not clothes. So is it the best Japanese label of all time? Well, like most things in fashion, it's subjective, but certainly an argument can be made on its behalf. So I'll leave it up to you all in the comments to debate that. Discuss it, or just your general thoughts on Undercover. Give a thumbs up if you like this video. Follow your boy on Instagram at Reggie Casual and the Casual Official at thecasual.co. そしてまだやっていないなら subscribe を忘れないように. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, but most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international street fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. よろしくお願いします. And I'll see you guys in a minute.